It's a Halloween sequel where they replace Mike Myers with a commercial jingle. Hello, people of Earth, and welcome to Matinee Monday. I'm your host, Paul Scheer, aka Tall John, and this is a How Did This Get Made video series where we are highlighting classic episodes of How Did This Get Made, episodes that we've recently taken out from behind the paywall, freed them from the vault, and put them in the main feed. You can listen to these episodes with commercials right now, or you can stay tuned and listen to a long clip from the episode right here. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything right now. You are perfect. Don't worry about subscribing in this moment, but if you like it, you can. We'll get into that in a second. People, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is technically a sequel to Halloween 1 and 2, but what they've done here is taken away the most engaging part, which is Michael Myers, and they've replaced it with a costume shop that brainwashes kids. I don't really remember the plot because it's not a good movie. It is really, truly not even a scary movie. It's just a weird movie. Now, originally, the intent behind this film was to create a series of films just with the Halloween name, right? Every Halloween movie would be a different scary story. You could have a bunch of different monsters, killers, whatever you wanted to do. But this one was a huge misstep. The only thing that is scary about this movie is the commercial jingle that will be embedded in your brain after you listen to it. I mean, seriously, this commercial jingle will drive you insane. It's like, happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween from Silver Shamrock. Okay. First of all, Silver Shamrock. Shamrock is a St. Patrick's Day thing. We have a costume store brainwashing kids. It doesn't even have how about orange jack-o'-lantern or silver cornucopia? It doesn't roll off the tongue, but you get what I'm saying. We need something that connotes Halloween. It's a shamrock is not going to do the trick. Anyway, this movie is weird. Kids killing people, I believe that's in it. It also is the very first How Did This Get Made episode that we did without guests. That set us down a path where we actually enjoy doing the show like this. We like just having Jason, June, and I sit together and talk. It's the reason why a lot of episodes recently haven't had a guest on. It's not just because we've been in quarantine and doing it over Zoom. We just like to have the conversation between the three of us. Every now and then we will open it up, but this was one of the first movies that we ever did where we just tried that. And we've talked about a bunch of different ways to continue to do that and maybe even expand the format of How Did This Get Made. Take advice, if you will. You'll see. There might be some stuff coming up soon. But we're getting off track. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is a wild ride that I don't suggest you need to take. Watch a trailer on YouTube, or, you know what, better yet, just go in cold and take a listen to this clip from the episode.
There's a lot of similarities between this movie and Toys.
Oh, yes.
A lot of similarities between robot people and toy makers and all this kind of weird, fucked up stuff. I felt like I was like, this is another Toys.
Well, let's go back just to set up our main character. So the movie starts off arguably with one of the worst title sequences of all time, potentially. It looks like print shop, old school print shop. This is a reference for people in their 30s.
This was one of my favorite sections.
Yeah,
I loved the opening, and I
love it because it's ridiculous.
But I unabashedly love John Carpenter's film scores.
Oh,
he does
amazing.
all the music for all his movies, and they remain amazing music. And this one was great.
I loved it too. That synthetic, I loved it.
And the song, we'll get to the song that plays about 15 times in the movie. That is true, 15 times.
8 more days till Halloween.
What's weird is that when they show the Halloween on TV, there's a commercial for the movie Halloween that has the exact same theme that this movie is using as its theme, which is the world's that at that point I'm like, whoa, you can't do that. You can't have the same scary movie theme be both part of my movie that I'm watching and the movie within the movie.
Bro, John Carpenter can do what he wants. This is the high 80s, man.
By that rationale, Snake Plissken could have arrived at any point in this movie and been like, oh, by the way, I'm here too.
And Snake Plissken could have run into the Kurt Russell character from The Thing.
Yes, from The Thing,
and they would have not have recognized each other.
Why not?
So, basically, all right, this movie, the protagonist of this movie is a drunk, doctor who loves to fuck.
He fucks everybody in the movie.
And they love him. Like
every woman is throwing herself at him like...
This is what's so weird about the movie because, yes, he's set up, I guess, as a womanizer and an alcoholic and sort of almost like a renegade.
Divorced dad.
But wait, doesn't he have a second wife?
Well, I didn't know if he was divorced from that woman because he goes, yes, I'll take the kids trick-or-treating.
Oh,
He's definitely divorced from her.
Wait, the woman in the house?
Yes.
Oh, I thought
they were together too.
I thought that was his wife, and then later when he's on the phone with a woman, he's like, "Oh, my ex-wife." I was like, "Oh, that must be a different woman."
Because he came into that house, because he came into his ex-wife's house, like very normally.
He didn't knock on the door. He just walked in as if he was and they were like, "Daddy's home, Daddy's home."
But then they discuss that he's getting the kids the next weekend.
Oh, for Halloween.
I didn't pay attention to the dumb words.
I will say the thing that I really did like about that when the father comes home is he seems like he just came home from like a hard day, like, hey, I'm going to see my kids. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I'm on call. Got to go.
Yep.
Like he is not in the house for more than 35 seconds. Where like, back to work.
Yeah.
See you later, guys. He had bought the masks that the kids already had.
No, he bought the masks that the kids didn't like because they had already purchased from Mom the
Silver Shamrock.
the bad news masks.
Yeah.
Now, this doctor is amazing. He gets called into the hospital. There was a guy who gets killed in the beginning of the movie, or not gets killed, gets frightened.
Almost
he's in a frightened coma. Yeah, he's in a frightened coma.
He's like John Hawkes in Congo.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's clutching onto a Halloween mask. And now
Which
he's
is so weird, by the way, because the doctors had been working on him for some time, and they must have, because it does seem he's in a coma.
Yeah.
They must have placed that mask in his hands, almost in a prayer position.
Well, it was so odd that they didn't
single doctor
take that
or
mask
orderly
out of
took
there.
that out of his hands.
Well, the only thing that wakes him up is when he hears the Silver Shamrock commercial.
Yes.
Right.
On one of the hospital TVs. He wakes up and is like, they're gonna kill us all.
Right.
And then passes out again. And everybody's like, what I can't figure out is that happens. And then the police come, and our sexy sex addict doctor doesn't tell them that.
No.
He doesn't say anything.
He kind of whispers it to the corners.
He basically lies.
That's the major plot point in the movie that's really flawed. Why this doctor feels compelled to go out on this journey
He's not
to figure this out.
He's not a lawman.
detective.
Yeah.
He's not a detective, even though they then start referring to him as a detective later.
Well,
You're a pretty good detective.
He pretty much, I think this movie pretty much sums up with this guy is a horny dude, and he sees a semi-hot girl, the daughter of the guy who died from,
Okay.
Spoiler alert, he gets his brain crushed in the hospital.
The guy in the introduction who's running away from the bad guys. The bad guys catch up with him in the hospital, and they basically shove their fingers into his eye sockets and melt his brain or
crushing
something.
his brain. And then the guy, he's in a suit. By the way, this movie does have the thing that I love in all horror movies: everyone running, and these guys just walk with purpose and manage to get 50 to 75 feet ahead much quicker at all times. The slow walk beats people running.
At one point, the man is running away from a car.
Yes.
And gets away. The car cannot close the gap.
And it's not a dysfunctional car. It is a car.
All they need to do is speed up.
Just put your foot down on that gas. Just
that guy,
a little bit more.
By the way, that guy's getting away. Nope. Nope, we're going to get him. Don't you worry.
Also, when they try to chase out, when the murderer crushes that guy's brain. This is my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of the movie. He's got blood all over his black gloves, and he just kind of grabs like a hospital, a curtain, and just like wipes off his blood, casually wipes off the blood off his hands.
And then walks out, like saunters out. Saunters out. And our doctor then starts racing after him.
And again, this guy walking with purpose, not going fast at all.
Is able to walk out into the parking lot, into his car, douse himself with gasoline, and light himself on fire before Sexy Doctor can get to him.
Yeah, and Sexy Doctor...
By the way, there's nobody working at this hospital.
No one. The night shift is basically him and that nurse that he taps her ass.
He's like a sexual predator, this guy.
But here's what's so weird. He is because he does those things, but there's nothing about him that actually seems like...
I don't know why these women are fucking him.
Yeah.
He's like, I should have married you, Doris.
He
slaps her ass.
And then slaps her ass. And she's like, you should be so lucky.
Ass.
And she, like, this guy looks to me like he smells like Budweiser and cigarettes.
And cigarette butts.
Yeah. Like,
by the way, he is not handsome.
No.
Who is he? I've seen him in 10 million things.
Yeah, he's been in everything.
I'm trying to think of what he's been in recently so people have a reference point for it.
I'm gonna pull it up.
But you know him. He's like a quintessential character actor from the last 2 decades.
More than his looks, what I was baffled by is he has no swagger. He doesn't seem interested in these women at all.
No, but he clearly
You're
is fucking
questioning his
every...
swag?
Yes, I am. By the way, the names in this movie, her name is Ellie Brimbridge? What is it?
Brimbridge.
Another woman's name is Minnie Blankenship.
Okay, wait. There is also a character named our curly-haired broad gets into a conversation with the woman Ellie gets into a conversation with the woman next door to them in the motel, and they have like an awkward exchange, and then the woman is like, "Oh, by the way, my name is Marge Gutterman. I'm at Union Square in San Francisco. You should come look me up." And then she is dead almost immediately. What? Why did you just introduce yourself by first and last name and tell us a location that we can find you at, and then we never revisit any of this?
I feel like all the people, everyone in this movie are exposition robots. They're like, I am this person, I do this, and this is my everyone has their game. Here's some of the names. I'll just read them down.
Honestly, I think we met her so that when she died, Ellie could seem upset about it. When she died, she's like, Marge! So they had some sort of a connection.
Here's some of the names. Conal Cochran, Rafferty, Buddy Kupfer, Betty Kupfer, Little Buddy, Linda Chalice, Grimbridge, and those are pretty much the biggest ones. Now, this guy we were talking about where he's been in, Tom Atkins, he's Daniel Chalice, and he's the doctor, and you might have seen him in movies like Drive Angry as Cap, My Bloody Valentine as Sheriff Jim Burke. He was in Striking Distance. That was 93. Sergeant Fred Hardy.
All right. Yeah, you would know him.
Bob Roberts, Maniac Cop, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the Lethal Weapon.
That's
who he is. Michael Huntsacker. He is the guy who, like, Danny Glover goes to. He's like, my daughter, she's in porn.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Huntsacker. Oh, I love it. All right.
The only reason I can think of as to why he goes to solve this is because
he wants to fuck that girl.
No, that's not it. I really don't think that's it.
I think that's it.
He seems surprised.
He does want to solve the mystery, but he wants to fucking plow this girl.
But why? Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like, he has another line, though, where he says, I've been at this hospital for 8 years, when he's talking to the coroner. And it seemed that was the reason that
he's done with hospital work? He wants to get into detecting?
That he felt so connected to this hospital that he couldn't stand this happened on his
he was
watch.
Like he did like he's talking to his ex-wife on the phone at one point and he's like, 2 men died here tonight, and you can hear her be like,
yeah.
God, that woman,
she was a nightmare.
A real shrew.
Yeah, like all women.
Well, because he goes, 2 people died last night, and she's like, are you going to take the kids trick-or-treating? And he's like, I'll be there. Meanwhile,
I think first what she says is something to the effect of, doesn't that happen all the time there? And he has to be like, no, it wasn't my fault. Like, he's like, it wasn't during operating or whatever. He's like, so there's murder and there's police around. His wife sounds like a nightmare. And so no wonder he's like, let me get the fuck out of here with this hot little number. She apparently packs the smallest little bag, and it's only full of lingerie, I believe. Lingerie and a parka.
Well, and she just flew in from LA.
And these two are ready to party because also, before he gets in her car to go detecting, he just has a 6-pack of beer.
Oh, yeah.
Just a 6-pack
up
he's
there. An alcoholic.
Well, when they actually meet...
He's an alcoholic, but it means nothing ultimately. Like,
yeah, his alcoholism does not play a part in this. It does not make him a bad doctor, does not make him a bad detective.
And he's never trying to prove that he's not an alcoholic or that he
he's just an alcoholic.
He's just an alcoholic.
It's just a fun side choice that his character has made to just be an inveterate drinker. Because the time that we meet him, when he meets the girl, Grimberg, he's at a bar on a Sunday morning watching cartoons and drinking. And
it's crazy. It's crazy, too, because he's sitting there in the bar and she just shows up. The girl whose dad just died.
No reason to know that they... Yeah.
Well, she does say, finally, she's like, the nurses told me you'd be here because you're a fucking crippling alcoholic, apparently.
And then the movie kind of skips 7 days. The movie opens up like on October 23rd, and then all of a sudden... The next day is Halloween.
Don't you also, sorry, just to backtrack one second, don't you also feel like he was fucking the coroner?
Oh,
he definitely
the blonde.
He definitely was. She kissed him, and then later on in the movie, he goes, I owe you a dinner. I'll take any dinner with you. Like, he's totally...
This dude is gross.
If he hasn't fucked her, he definitely fingerbanged her.
Though, I was obsessed with. First of all, she's sifting through those ashes with no gloves on.
No.
Just her hands.
Yep.
And it takes her, I would say, probably 5 days to figure out that there are no human remains.
Yeah. And she's
ashes.
like, she goes, I think someone might be tampering with this because it's just pieces of the car. It's like non-organic material or whatever she says.
And then, here's a big spoiler for later. A lot of these people are robots. And
I'm sorry. A lot of these people in the movie are robots.
We'll get into that.
The majority of these people
Once they get to that one town, a solid 75% of residents
are robots. If not all are robots. It takes place in the same small town as...
I didn't realize that. So the townspeople are robots as well?
I think a lot of...
The men in suits
are.
Because remember, they say the drunk says they brought in all outside labor. I think
those people work at the factory.
But the bum, he's like a real person.
There's some real people there now, but so she's like doing the investigation, the coroner, and she's like sifting through, and then all of a sudden, the second time we see her, it's just gizmos, like robotic gizmos, like and they're in the same kind of petri dishes. It's like, oh yeah, and these are odd that all of a sudden I have like 4 trays of just like gyros and like little like it's so.
And they also make a big deal of the fact that she's the assistant coroner, so she can't like speed along this investigation.
Is that right?
Yeah,
in
the beginning when he first meets her. When he first goes to her, but then like she is the only one.
Yeah, she never answers to anybody. All right.
With no gloves on.
By the way, let's just for everyone to hear it. This song, like I said, plays 15 times throughout the movie. Every time there's a TV on, this song plays.
All right, everybody. That is just a taste of what we got into when talking about Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. If you want to listen to the full episode, you can. It's right now live in the How Did This Get Made feed. You can listen to that wherever you get your podcasts. I'm not going to go into more detail than that because you're smart. So subscribe, do the whole thing, and stay tuned because every week we're going to be launching a brand new movie out from the vault here for you. I'll give you a little bit of backstory about it and a little bit of clips so you can try it before you hit that button to subscribe or download because I know you got a lot of things going on and you can't be worried about going to another place to do something else. I'm here to take the weight off your shoulders. And remember, if you're here on my YouTube channel, subscribe. Why not? Join our Discord at discord.gg/HDTGM or discord.gg/Paul Scheer. It's all happening there. And we'll see you next week for another Matinee Monday.